Welcome to Wake Up TV. I'm Eric Curry. We have several stories lined up for you today. Wake County continues to preserve the area's most important landmarks while preserving history. We'll have more, plus a new addition to Wake County's Parks and Open Space recently opened to the public. We'll share with you highlights of the grand opening. But first, for 28 years, Commissioner Betty Lou Ward has been a member of the Wake County Board of Commissioners. And during those 28 years, she has served as chair, vice chair, and has held numerous positions on both the state and national levels as a dedicated public servant. But recently, Mrs. Ward announced that she would not seek re-election next year for a position that she's held since 1988, making her one of the longest-serving commissioners in Wake County and the state. Joining us to talk about her distinguished career is none other than Commissioner Betty Lou Ward. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Eric.
Can you share with the viewers a little bit about yourself, your background?
Well, my background, I actually was a nurse until my children came along. I was perfectly happy doing that, and then suddenly here are these little people that require more attention than I ever dreamed they would. And so I have two children, and I stayed at home with them and became a community volunteer, if you will, and enjoyed it very much. It was wonderful.
What prompted you to one day say to your family that you were considering to run for a seat on the Wake County Board of Commissioners?
I suppose my mother probably had as much influence on me as anyone else because she was always active, involved, well into her 80s. And she lived to be 90, and she only died 15 years ago, and we just regret that so much. But she was a wonderful person, and she always believed that you should give back to your community. And I strongly do believe that too. I think the wonderful opportunities I have had as a county commissioner sort of bear that out. It's been fantastic.
And what has prompted you to decide that 28 years is long enough?
Oh, age probably. I'm ready to do some traveling. I'm ready to travel with Bill, with my husband, and have a few more opportunities to get out of town.
Okay. What are some of the things you're most proud of as you look back in your career?
Well, I think I am most proud of some of the opportunities that I've been given as a county commissioner to be able to look at this new building that we're in. It took a long time to get this underway, took a long time to build it, but by the same token, during the time that we had a sort of a slowdown in the economy, we opted to leave everything as it was on the ground level and left it for 2 years, and we came back to it. And I think I'm really proud of that. I'm also proud of the fact that we have established a court system that many of the judges throughout the court system will tell you that they're very happy to be in Wake County holding court. And I think that in itself is a real pop on the back, a real congratulatory type thing for us as county commissioners.
What are some of the issues that you think are important for the current board and future boards to continue to keep an eye on in this county?
Well, one of the things that we have failed miserably at is transportation. Durham County and Orange County have moved forward by having the people in those counties vote on whether to move ahead with transportation or not. Unfortunately, I think maybe the General Assembly sort of cut off those opportunities to some extent this year, but I really don't take that as a final word. I think perhaps we'll see the opportunity there again.
About a year from now will be the next election to select your successor. What can you share with your constituents as kind of your final thoughts as you enter your last year of service?
I think, Eric, I would like to say to them there are really wonderful opportunities out here in the elected field for those of you that are interested in this, and for even those that have not thought about the possibility of serving as an elected official. Please consider it, because I never really dreamed about it earlier. I was busy with a family, busy with the community, busy with a lot of things. And so once I began to think about it, I thought, well, perhaps I will be able to bring some recommendations to the board that might fly, and I certainly have. But also, I really feel that when you're on a board of 7, such as our county commissioners, that we all represent the county. We all represent each and every person in the county. And for that, I'm grateful that I was able to stick to that motto all through my 28 years of service.
Commissioner Betty Lou Ward, a living legend, mentor to many in municipal government, not only here in Wake County, but in the state of North Carolina and the nation. On behalf of the Wake County staff and all of the constituents and citizens of Wake County, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll share with you how Wake County staff is preparing for the upcoming flu season. Stay tuned.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you, but the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Welcome back. It's November, which means that the flu season is well underway here in North Carolina. Wake County health officials are now encouraging all citizens to get their flu immunizations early so they can be protected, especially during this upcoming holiday season. Joining us to talk about the flu season and how to protect you and your family is Dr. Kimberly McDonald, Medical Director for Wake County Human Services, and Joanne Douglas, Immunization Program Coordinator, also with Wake County Human Services. They're here to tell us why is it so important to get that flu shot as early as possible. Thank you so much for being here. Why is it important to receive the flu immunization now?
Well, because flu is a serious illness and anyone can get the flu. And getting your flu vaccine is the single best way to protect yourself and your family from getting sick.
Why should there be a flu shot taken every year? You hear that all the time. Why is it important to get it yearly?
Well, there are 2 big reasons. One, the flu virus tends to change pretty rapidly, so the flu vaccine may need to be updated on an annual basis to make sure that we are up to date with the most common and most frequent viruses that we might contract. The other is that immunity wanes over time. So you get your flu vaccine in October, and then by the end of the next year, your immunization has diminished.
Okay, and who should be getting these vaccinations?
Well, everyone 6 months and older should receive the flu vaccine. There are some populations that are at higher risk for complications from influenza and should really make sure that they get vaccinated. And that is kids under 5, especially those under 2, anyone over the age of 65, people with asthma or other respiratory diseases, those with immunocompromised states, people who are pregnant, people who live in long-term care facilities, healthcare workers, and those who have household or close contact with those who are at risk for complications.
Now, of course, there are some of those in the community, many that are at risk and that should get this vaccination, but there are also people that should not receive the flu shot as well?
There are very few instances in which people should not get the flu shot. Those instances are if you have a severe or life-threatening allergic reaction to the flu vaccine or any component of the flu vaccine. if you have severe allergy to eggs, and you would talk to your provider about that, because there are some people who, even though they have allergies to eggs, can still receive the flu vaccine, and your provider will know whether or not you can. And also people who develop the paralytic illness Guillain-Barré syndrome after receiving the flu vaccine within about 6 weeks of receipt of the vaccine.
Okay.
So those are the main exceptions to getting the flu vaccine.
Okay. Joanne, are there any changes to this year's flu vaccine?
Yes, there are, Eric. As Dr. McDonald mentioned, the flu vaccine changes every year, so the strains change, and the manufacturers are trying to predict what will be the circulating strains in the community. And we have quite a few manufacturers that are producing flu vaccines, so there's a lot of choice for consumers. We have the traditional shot in the arm. You know, we have a 3-strain and a 4-strain vaccine now, 2A and 1B, and then the 4th-strain has 2 A strains and 2 B strains. Flu mist, intranasal for people that are medically eligible and between the ages of 2 and 49, that goes up each nostril. We have high-dose flu for our seniors who are 65 years and older, and that has a little more of the ingredient that will help them to get a better immune response. All of these vaccine products will give you protection for the entire flu season. So that's why we say to get vaccinated early as possible, and it will take you right through to, as I mentioned, the end of April and possibly in May. But you should ask your provider which vaccine type is right for you.
There's one question that I think can be dispelled as a myth. A lot of folks say, I don't want to get the flu shot because soon after I get the shot, I get sick. Is that true?
No, it's not. The injectable flu vaccine variety is a killed virus, so it can't give you illness. The flu mist is a live virus vaccine, so people may feel a little more side effects than they would from the injectable, maybe a little bit of achiness or light cold symptoms or something like that, but they're not going to be transmitting the flu illness to you through immunization.
Okay, now we got that out of the way. Where can people receive the flu vaccination?
We have a lot of opportunity in the community to receive flu immunization. In addition to your provider, you can go to your local pharmacy, urgent cares. We have retail locations like Target and Walmart that are still offering flu vaccine again this year, and your local health department. So at Wake County Human Services, we're offering flu immunization at all of our clinical sites, including those in the outlying areas, Zebulon, Wake Forest, and Fuquay. At our public health center at 10 Sunnybrook Road, we have walk-in flu clinics every Thursday in Clinic E from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. right through the holidays.
Okay, and for those that may not have had a chance to get a pen and pencil to write all that information down, where can they find this information?
Well, they can find the information at wakegov.com. So we're putting that out there as a good source of information for everyone that's hearing this, that if you go to the search box and you type flu, FLU, in the search box, that you're going to find out all the information about clinic locations, dates and times, phone numbers where you can call to make an appointment. You can get information about the flu vaccines themselves, tips on preventing the flu disease, and a whole host of other pieces of information that I think would be helpful for citizens.
Okay, great information. Joanne Douglas, Dr. Kim McDonald with Wake County Human Services, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
When we return, we'll talk about the newest open space property now available for citizens to enjoy. Stay tuned.
The flu is unpredictable and can be serious, even for healthy people. A flu vaccine is your best protection. Who needs to be vaccinated against the flu? You. Protect yourself, your friends, and your family. Get a flu vaccine.
Wake County Commissioners, along with county staff and citizens, were on hand for the official dedication and opening of the Robertson Mill Pond Preserve in eastern Wake County, which is one of the latest properties that will provide public access to the county-managed open space. The property will also offer recreational activities, including canoeing and kayaking. Robertson Mill Pond was one of the first properties identified by Open Space Program for protection due to its unusual blackwater cypress habitat, more common to eastern North Carolina. Total cost of the 84.6-acre property purchased in September of 2013 was a little over $1 million. Since 2000, Wake County voters have approved $91 million in open space bonds. With these funds, the county has preserved or helped preserve over 120 properties, totaling more than 5,400 acres.
Robertson Mill Pond has been very important to this community for a long time. This is considered part of Wendell, although it's actually in the county's jurisdiction. And to preserve something that is this beautiful for many years to come is going to be very important. It's going to be exciting. I know that they're going to want to get out here right away, and we hope that we can work with them and make sure that people are aware of this facility and can enjoy it on the weekends. Once I went to work with the town of Wendell and started working with Wake County, I found out that there was a much bigger plan for this beautiful site. I was fortunate enough to work with Wake County staff and to recognize how special this area was. And so I've been very fortunate to be a part of this and I've been again now with, I've lived in Wake County for about 30 years and I've been working with the town now about 20.
It was awesome. We saw like birds, like we saw wood ducks, and they flew away and their call was pretty cool. When we went out into the canoe, we saw some Spanish moss, and that was really cool because they're not usually here in this part of North Carolina. And the canoe trip was really cool because there's a whole trail, and when we got to 16, there was this giant open pond where there was all the trees surrounding us. And that was pretty cool because we could see the sky, but we could also see all the trees with the moss and all the trees sticking out from growing from the pond.
Ed Gerke, the property's owner, said in a statement, "My family has owned Robertson's Mill Pond since the early 1900s when my great-grandfather, Charlie Robertson, purchased the property to operate a grist mill. My grandfather spent his later years fishing in the pond almost every day. The property is quite unique for this area of the state. When paddling up in the pond, you feel far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. It is very peaceful. We hope the public can now enjoy the pond and its natural beauty. We're pleased that Wake County now owns the property and will preserve it in its natural state."
It's crucially important for the towns and the county to work together so that we can have the benefit of the funding that the county can provide. Small towns can't fund projects like this, and they're for the benefit of the county, for all the residents of Wake County, and so we need their help and their expertise. We don't have on staff the kinds of people that we heard from today that can do this kind of thing for us. So that's why it's important. Oh, I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for our residents. I hope that they will come out here. I hope that they'll come and see what it looks like and experience how beautiful it is. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's like a little hidden treasure that I hope people find out about.
When we return, we'll tell you what's being done to preserve some of the county's most historical buildings.
Wake County government provides a wide array of services to residents, including emergency medical services, public library access, and health clinics at Human Services. Residents and visitors see some of these services every day, but many are less public. The new Inside Wake Gov social media campaign gives you a look inside Wake County government and educates followers about the employees and programs that make a difference in our community every day. Follow Wake Gov on Instagram for these weekly glances inside Wake County. Don't have an Instagram account? Not a problem. You can visit Instagram.com and search the hashtag InsideWakeGov to find a collection of the photographs.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
And welcome back. Created in 1992 by the Wake County Board of Commissioners, the Wake County Historic Preservation Commission is a 12-member board charged with preserving and protecting the county's special heritage. Joining us to talk about the board's mission is Gary Roth, President and CEO of Capital Area Preservation, and Ed Morris, Chair of the Wake County Preservation Commission. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Ed, what is the purpose of the Wake County Historic Commission?
Well, the Commission's goal is to help promote historic preservation across Wake County in a number of ways. First of all, we like to educate the public about what historic preservation means, how it benefits the community, what positive economic impacts it has on the community. We also are trying to preserve those few remaining properties that are real jewels to the community. They're important to our history, our past. They're important architecturally or for who has lived there in the past. So we do a little bit of everything.
Gary, what type of partnership exists between the Commission and the Capital Area Preservation Group?
Capital Area Preservation provides staffing to the Commission. We also provide various services to the Wake County Planning Group and so forth. We also, because it is a partnership, we also share in a number of the programs together. Probably the most notable is our Preservation Celebration that happens every May, where our organization and the Preservation Commission join together to recognize all the new landmark owners. But on a day-to-day basis, we provide staffing services.
Ed, why is this effort so important?
Well, when you have a county like Wake County that is just vibrant and growing at a massive rate, you very easily can lose those elements of our past that are important to us. And once they're gone, they're gone. If we can identify a few of those jewels that are out there still that are untouched and get the property owners involved in helping preserve them, that is an important thing for future generations. We also, provide, for example, with a historic farm setting. If that's designated as a historic landmark, it also provides an element of open space in an area that may become totally surrounded by subdivisions in just a few years. So we're trying our best to try to preserve the best of the best.
How does the community benefit from this process of saving, preserving structures and homes?
Well, as Ed touched on, in a sense, we are a growing community. We all recognize that there are many benefits of growth. What we think is important is that these historic properties be a part of that growth, that they be a part of the future. And we think we all benefit as a home in a community is preserved. Generally, it has very positive effects on all the surrounding properties.
What are some of the more fascinating properties that have been preserved over the years?
There's so many in Wake County, but I'll give you an example of just 2 or 3 public buildings. You think when you're talking about historic preservation, most of it is private homes and that sort of thing. But in Wake County, we have a mix of public and private. Yates Mill, just south of Raleigh, a wonderful 18th century grist mill, fully restored, functional. There's nature walks, there's science education. It is a great place to take a family on an outing. Another one that comes to mind is a much newer building than Yates Mill is J.S. Dorton Arena at the fairgrounds. Few people realize that when Dorton Arena was built in the early 1950s, it made international headlines. It was the first arena of any type without internal column supports. And then right next door to Dorton Arena, there's another example, a bit older example, the State Fair Education Building.
I want to mention the Apex Dome. I think it's neat because it is such a humble building. It was built really to be a vegetable stand. But what's neat about it is the dome. The building is called the Apex Dome, but what's neat is the dome itself. Because even though it's sort of a humble building, it traces its genealogy goes back to Buckminster Fuller, who was the designer of the geodesic domes. So I like to point that one out because it's a very unusual, it's an internationally significant building, but yet it's also a very humble building.
Oh, very interesting. Ed, have there been any recent designations?
Oh yes, we do several a year, and the most recent we have just awarded their plaques to. And one that comes to mind would be the Robertson Mill Pond site, and that's actually a Wake County site, part of the Wake County Park System. It's an archaeological site. We only have a couple of archaeological sites landmarked in Wake County. And then just down the road from the mill site, same road out in eastern Wake County in the Wendell area, is the Dr. Thomas H. Avera House. Also down in southern Wake County, in the Fuquay Arena area, we have 2 recent landmarks. We have the Howard House. The Howard House is right downtown in Fuquay Arena, and just a few blocks away is the Stevens House. The Stevens House, also built in the early 20th century, still in the same family that built the house a century ago. And again, another property that is virtually untouched. It is in its original form. Both 2 very nice properties that have recently been added to the list.
And Gary, before we close, if residents want to find out more information about preservation in Wake County, where should they go?
Well, there's 2. They can always go to Wake.gov. They can also go to CAP's website, which is www.cappresinc.org. And there they will find applications for landmarks, they'll find Q&A about what it means to be a landmark, and they will find a list of the entire inventory of Wake County landmarks, which is now up to something like 72.
Okay, fantastic. Gary Roth, President and CEO of Capital Area Preservation, and Ed Morris, Chair of the Wake County Preservation Commission. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Keep up with the latest Wake County news by visiting us online at wakegov.com/news or on Facebook or Twitter. That's our show for today. Thanks for watching.